Okay, I didn't feel like recording this episode, and to be honest, I was just gonna put it off. But now that I've thought about it, I think it's best for me to just sit down and analyze the way I'm feeling. So, hi, hello, welcome back to the second episode. We've done it, we've made it. This is the second episode of the Late Night Talks podcast. If you're new to this, hi, my name is Hafidos. I am your host for this late night talk session. And today we'll be talking about how nothing will change if nothing changes. And what I mean by this is that in life, if you don't do something because someone says something else, or if you don't do it just because you're not confident in yourself as much as you should be, you'll just stay at the same like at the same spot. You need to get yourself uncomfortable. You need to get yourself at the point where you just don't feel like you want to do this. And I feel like it's a really important moment in yourself where you're the only one that believes in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, who else will? When all faith loses and when no one is believing in you, you're the only person that believes in yourself. So it's something which is really important. It also, like, the title of the episode really does point out how important it is for small and minute changes rather than like a big leap. Because a big leap will just make you feel exhausted, uncomfortable, to the point where you don't want to continue. It will make the entire experience bad, and it's just not going to be worth it in the long run. It's not sustainable. It's just nothing. It's not a fun, enjoyable time. Something I can like really relate to is this podcast and even like recording videos for YouTube. I feel like as time goes on, the more I understand that I should really just work at it at my own pace rather than like forcing myself to do it when I don't want to, but also saying that I do need to hold myself accountable. Because sometimes I'll record something and not upload it, or sometimes I won't record something. For example, this podcast episode, I kept on putting it off. And today is the day where, like, when the podcast is going up. So, literally, I've had an entire week to record this podcast, but I just kept on putting it off. Now it's at the point where I don't really have any other choice, which, to be honest, is good because I feel like if, like, I'm the type of person to only do something if there's a deadline or if there's like a, hey, listen, this needs to get done now. There is no other choice. Because if you give me time, I'm just going to procrastinate and I'm going to do other things and I'm going to say that other things are much more important, which, to be honest, that's a whole other topic, like procrastination and just not doing something at the moment. But something that I'm trying to really instill in my life is the idea that if you think about something for long enough, you just get up and do it. Like, why are you thinking about something rather than just getting up, doing it, and having it be done in like an hour or two? Like, it's that easy. But I swear to God, sometimes it gets too much. Like, I'll wake up and I'll think about all the things I need to get done, and it's like 50 things, and I just freeze up. I just freeze up. I don't want to do anything, and I go back to bed. Literally, I wake up and I'm like, I cannot do this today. Like, it's too much. It's too crazy, and I just need to lay in bed. I need to sleep. And something I really suffer with is like insomnia episodes, which is like I'll stay up thinking I need to be productive, and I'll be kind of productive, but it will totally not be worth it for the time that I do spend awake. So like if I do an all-nighter, instead of me sleeping in the morning, I'll just keep on going at it because I'll be on this like productive high where I'm like, oh yeah, I need to continue. And I'll just crash, which is so bad because then once you crash, you're like, it's really hard to get back up. And it's even like stuff where the way you start your day is really important. What you eat is really important. And all of these are like small things that will really change your perspective in life. Even just small things like, hey, listen, you're gonna wake up and the first thing you do is drink a cup of water rather than coffee. Because I don't know, for example, with me, although coffee is a great thing, it gets my anxiety really high. So you can imagine if I intake too many coffees, too many monsters, I'll start buzzing and I'll start like shaking. So that's something which is not that wow. So the power of small changes is really important. When I say small changes, I don't mean like a quarter of a change. I'm talking about like actually putting effort into something, but not giving it your all. Sometimes not giving it your all is okay. And that's something that I also really need to learn is in life, if you give your all to something, it's much more likely to let you down and it's much more likely to have you burn out, which is not that great. Like if I decide to wake up and if I decide to wake up and just work constantly, non-stop, and I don't do other things which will relieve me and de-stress me and like relax me and make me feel like, oh, I'm having a break. Oh, I want to go back to that, It'll make me feel like I don't want to go back. And like if I look at work, if I just work constantly, it's great. You'll be productive, but it's not sustainable and no one wants to do that. And even if your job is something you enjoy, like for example with me, it's something I really do enjoy doing, but to be honest, I still find myself doing things which don't need to go up, don't need to turn into content, don't need to be monetized. Like sometimes doing things not for the money is good because if you don't put if you don't put the monetary value to it, you'll appreciate it for the way you like doing it rather than you appreciating it for the value people give it. Even like when you upload stuff, you look at the views rather than like you enjoying it. Like so many times I upload a video and I tell myself, oh, it's not good just because it didn't get the views. And it's not because it's actually not good. I mean, sometimes it could be like a questionable video, but most of the time I do think that the videos I do create are quite good. So if I let people give me the value that I do for myself, I would not get anywhere in life. Overcoming stagnation. This is the next thing. Like learning how to let go is totally okay. I feel like part of the reason growing and evolving exists is from as like a consequence of learning how to let go and move on from past things in life. Because so many times people have told me, why didn't you continue doing this, why didn't you continue doing that, and I'm like, no, it just got to the point where I just stagnated. And if I stagnate in life, I'm not happy. I need to always have like a upward somewhat projection. It could go down, but like it needs to go back up. Like I can't be like flatlining. If I'm flatlining in life, just end me, please. So I'm always trying to work towards an incline rather than decline. Of course, there's gonna be declines and like downward inclinations. What's the opposite of an inclination? Inclination, incline. Is incline and inclination the same word? But if you always work towards more and if you always want more, then you will always be progressing towards something you want to achieve. And something which is really important is having the freedom where you are able to want more without needing to provide. So recently I saw a podcast where basically they were talking about the whole idea that if you are not given the opportunity to enjoy life and enjoy your passions without the monetary gain, you won't be overcoming the obstacle of, oh, I need to do this for work and oh, I need to do this for money. So the job, like if you get your dream job in life, you probably wouldn't enjoy it if you're not getting paid enough for it, because you need to get to the point where you are doing it because you love it and you're not doing it for the monetary gain. And it's easier said than done, but I really do see myself in this whenever it comes to like, I don't know, stuff like content creation. Like I'm trying to always create something which is like gonna get views and it's gonna get like some money, because like you need money to live whether you like it or not. You need money to live. Monetary value exists and like money exists and capitalism exists, and you need to find that safe zone between you're doing something you like but also at the same time you're not doing what you like for money. Because if you're doing what you like for money and you're not getting paid enough, like for example the creative field, you're not gonna enjoy it and probably it'll be like a bad thing. It's the same thing as like when people say, oh, don't do what you love full time. Because what you love doing is in your free time. You want to turn that free time into your full time, but don't force your free time to become your full time because it just won't work. It won't work. And it'll be like a headache and it'll be like a lot of um, hard work, and you would probably get tired out. But slowly working at it and slowly having that side hustle become your semi full time, become a part time, and then slowly turn into your full time. That's the way it should work. And that's the way I think it's best. Something that I like really struggle with is doing days of productive work and like being like living. I swear to God, sometimes living is just difficult. And when I say this, it doesn't mean that like, I don't know, staying alive is difficult, but like, I don't know, just doing your everyday things are difficult. And to be honest, it could be that I'm just tired out of living with my family, which is another topic. But living alone, sometimes you do get the joys out of just the small things. And when I say small things, I mean like planning out the day. So planning out what you're gonna have for lunch, planning out what you're gonna have for dinner, and even like planning out where you're gonna work. For example, with me, I always work in my room. I think that's the most realistic because there isn't really that many open areas and open spaces to work unless you want to get either a heat stroke, you want to end up next to the beach, or you want to end up in a coffee place which is still crowded and you won't focus. And there isn't really that many dedicated office spaces unless you want to pay for an office space or like a creative space, as some people call it. But then it's like, why am I paying for something which I can do at home? Like at the same time, I like my room. My room is nice. But I do days where I'd work from home and I'd work in my room, and then I just crash for days. And well, days, I say like a day or two. But when I crash, I just disassociate from all of society and like, low-key just don't do anything online. And like I stay offline as much as possible, mostly sleeping or like watching series and films, which sometimes is needed. But I feel like that's such a bad habit because it just takes me from this really high high to like a really low low, which you don't need that in life. Like life shouldn't be a roller coaster of ups and downs. It should be like I'm not trying to get whiplash. I'm not trying to like break my neck on the way down. Yeah, sometimes I forget that when things feel overwhelming, I should just return to my normal routine of like simple things. But since I finished school, I feel like getting a routine is quite difficult because, as I've said, I work for myself. And when I don't work for myself, I work for events. Well, that's still kind of working for yourself, but you know what I mean. When I'm working your normal, if you want to call it that, job where you have like you need to go somewhere where I don't need to work at my own pace. I feel like that really does help motivate me. But since I do work at nights during events and parties, it's not really that realistic to have a routine centered around that. So overall, having a routine where it's quite simple and you just get done what you need to get done. Like, for example, you get up, you take care of yourself, and you don't do anything content related or work related. If you want to, let's talk about you, for example, and you just enjoy your life as if it was a typical Sunday. I like to call Sundays my rest days. Well, I'm trying to have it be more like that because usually Sundays for me are really stressful. Like I really panic and I'm really like, I need to get this done. I need to get this done because it's like the end of a week, even though it's like not the work week, but it's the end of a week and the start of a new week. And I like to enter the new week being productive because if on Monday I feel good, it means on Tuesday I feel good. And if on Tuesday I feel good, then Wednesday is great. Also, Wednesday has been amazing because Agatha All Along has been coming out, and I love that show. Like, having motivators in life is also something which is really great. Like, small things that really just push you forward. Like, if you enjoy doing something, get the work done and have that be your motivator to get the work done. Because if you don't have anything motivating you, you just won't be motivated. Wow, shocker. I know, like, not having motivation won't have motivation, but like, I feel like we're just like, you need to read into it. It's the same thing as this podcast episode. Nothing will change if nothing changes. It's not that. It's it's the small things in life that make a big difference, and it's the small things that really affect you, even though you might not think they might affect you as much as you do. And just having small motivators really does help push you to your to your best potential. And also like understanding that, hey, if you don't do it, who will care? And also, you need to understand that no one cares in life about anyone. And I don't think anyone cares about, like, yeah, I do care about you and you care about me. But, like, at the same time, what I'm saying is no one cares if you do something. You should do something for yourself and then allow people to want that from you. Like, for example, with this podcast, I feel like I keep on shifting from wanting to do it for myself, but also wanting to do it for others. And when I say I want to do for others, it doesn't mean that I want to, I don't know, be liked by others, but also at the same time, I really feel a next level of appreciation when people say they listen to what I say and when people listen to me. Because Doing it for yourself and doing it for myself is so much, like, it's much easier said than done. I know I've said this before, but it's much easier to say something than do it. Wow. But it really is. And like, it feels like the idea of it is much easier than the actualization of it. And that's why I tell you, just do it and don't think about it. Because if you think about it, you're idolizing it, you're to some extent falsifying it, and you're not really giving the most realistic take on it. In life, you should just do. Just do. Just do something. Don't think about it. Because the more you think about it, the more you're wasting time on it. And if it's not worth it in the long run, why are you investing so much of your time on it? I feel like ideas are things that aren't tangible. So, like, ideas are great, but we should, like, what's the materialize? Yeah, we should materialize ideas as soon as possible. And if it's realistic, of course, don't drop everything to, I don't know, go to the other side of the world just because you had the idea at like 5 a.m. It doesn't work like that. Self sabotage is also a big thing when it comes to like small changes and changes in yourself. Now, when I do say changing, doing minute changes for a larger scale change, I do mean like even in terms of like personal health. And self sabotage is also a big thing. People usually just don't do something because it might get them to a point of uncomfortability. And I have a whole idea for an episode about this. But if you don't get yourself to the point where you feel comfortable with the idea of doing something uncomfortable, how will you expect yourself to have a shift in mindset? Like, when we're saying you grow, it means you change to some certain extent. I know you shouldn't change for others, and I know, like, when I say change, I mean like evolve and grow, develop, you know? And if you don't put yourself in a scenario where you've never been, how will you expect yourself to like come up with new thoughts and different ideas? I feel like me talking right now really does like help me also self-reflect. And like, starting this episode, I was tiny bit like upset and I was tiny bit like frustrated. Well, it wasn't that I was frustrated. It was like, oh, I kept on telling myself, and this is something else. When I need to record this episode, like when I need to record a podcast episode or any video in general, I keep on putting it off for the simple reason that I say, "Oh, I don't feel like I am my best self," and I keep on telling myself, "Oh, I need to be my best self. I need to have a great day. If I wake up and something is a slightly off, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it because I know it's not going to be great, and I know it's basically my headspace is that where I just over analyze and over criticize myself, and I want everything to be perfect because if it's not perfect, then it's not worth it. And it's this is life. Come on, like, let's be realistic. Nothing is perfect. And I think it's also the nice things about life to never expect it to turn out the way you do. Something about like working in production sets and like film productions is, it's funny as someone who works in the production side of things, like you have post, basically when you're working on a project. I don't want to say film because like in today's time, what is film? But if you're working on a photo shoot, if you're working on a film set, if you're working on a exhibition space, I don't know, if you're working on something which is high stress, most of the time it's when it's high stress, you always expect something to go wrong the day of, like when production is set to go. And it's usually not in pre-production. Well, sometimes you do have things go wrong in production, but most of the bad things and things you need to be on your toes thinking about is like on production, like when things need to be get done, like things need to get done. And then in post production, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's when you can fix it." No one can fix it in post, and it's something I also tell myself whenever I'm working is do something which will fix the issue now rather than pushing it to be like an issue for yourself later on. Fix it now. If you're able to do something to fix it, just fix it. Don't have it stay that way, and don't let yourself tell yourself, "Oh, it'll be better later on," because it won't. It's the same reason that I feel when I was, yeah, something about self sabotage is me when I was doing my degree. Although I do really think that doing YouTube and doing content creation really is, to some extent, something you need to take up part time at least, or like full time if you really want to dedicate yourself to it. Um, when I was doing my degree, I really do wish I took the opportunity more to just develop myself online. And although I did develop myself offline, like offline, I developed myself in terms of like my artistry. But I really do wish I did work more on like uploading stuff and like doing that, because I feel like that would have like shown a larger change through the years. And I feel like I kept on telling myself, oh, it's not going to be perfect this time around. Oh, it's not going to be perfect. Oh, it's not going to be great. Oh, this isn't right. This isn't perfect. This is. It's so frustrating to have that mindset. And me saying it out loud just sounds so absurd. And it sounds so, I don't know, like when I say it out loud, I tell myself, so your fear is that it won't be perfect. Oh no. Like me thinking about my life, I've done so many things that were imperfect. So many things. And did it turn out good? Yeah, it was fine. It's that idea that things are not going to turn out great just because they're not perfected. And I know a lot of people think this way because so many people also share this similar mindset of no, it's not perfect, it's not great, it's not like it's so like it needs to be like this, and this is my expectation for myself. And you don't need to expect so much from yourself. Like give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. You've done so much already. Don't expect yourself, if you're starting out to paint, do like a Picasso painting by next week. You need to give yourself time and you need to hone in your skills and develop that. But just expecting more from yourself is good. Wanting more from yourself is great. Wanting more from life is great. But let's be realistic, because that's another thing, is setting realistic expectations for yourself. Like with me, before I recorded this episode, I was setting up my schedule, and on Thursday, I don't really have many things to do, and for some reason, that really frustrated me, and it made me want to like do more. And I'm saying this because I know realistically I will be tired on Thursday, and I will need a day off, or like an hour or two off. So me expecting myself to have something to do every slot of the day and every second is really not that realistic. And it's really something that I like I set out, and it's like you write out an entire to-do list just to tick off the first three things, and when like you have six things and you don't tick off the three things, but just because you did three of them, you're like, oh, we're great, we're productive, it's over, it's done with. Isn't it better to just have three things and just doing three things rather than having six things and only doing three things? Like I'm saying this, but I just know that I've done so many things myself, which I'm so guilty of. And it's so great. Like, it's so great to say it out loud just for me to understand how absurd some things I do are. Because, say, like, I feel like it's really beneficial. If you have any deep thoughts right now, if you have anything which is stressing you out, if you have anything which is anxiety inducing, I want you to, like, say it out loud now. I'm gonna give you a moment. Just say it out loud. Wherever you are, no matter if you're alone, if you're with people, just say it out loud. You don't have to get into details. Just say it. You can say one word. Now tell me if that helps, because I swear to God, saying things out loud really helps you understand that something which is stressing you and something which is giving you anxiety isn't that big of a deal. At the end of the day, it's just a situation. It's just something. It's just another, what are those things that people jump over? It's just another hurdle. That's the word. Oh my God, my English. Wow. One of my biggest fears in life is failing at what I want to do and failing at the idea I have for myself, which, to be honest, having an idea for yourself, that's already setting yourself up for failure. Let's be realistic. But it's the idea that I don't do what I expect myself to do, and having expectations to some certain extent is bad, but also it helps you keep yourself accountable and keep yourself in line with what you think you're able to do. But what is failure? Like I saw this cringy, you can call it cringy. To be honest, it is low-key kind of cringy. But I saw this, I think it's a quote or it's like some sort of like Pinterest thing. Failure is really when you stop trying rather than you not successfully doing something, you know? Like if you don't successfully pass an exam, if you don't successfully get a job that you really have wanted and you've worked towards, if you don't successfully do anything in life and the outcome isn't what you've expected, I don't want to say the outcome is that of failure, because what is failure in reality? It's all about perspectives here. You need to look at it at a different angle. Just because you didn't get a certain mark, just because you didn't get like a certain result that you were expecting, try it again. Let's run it again. Like let's go through it again. Let's see where we could have done better. Let's see where we can improve. Improving is actually the success in the situation, and failure is you if you don't even try. Like in life, I'd rather try something and fail at it than keep on thinking about the what ifs. Like, let me fail and let me try again. And sometimes it's good to let go of things. Like, it's fine if you don't want to do it anymore. It's fine if you don't want to do a certain course that you have thought that it was one thing, but when you've gone and done it, it's another thing. It's fine. It's totally okay to let go of things. But what I'm saying is, just because you didn't get the outcome you expected doesn't mean you should give up. Keep on pushing yourself. I want to see you push yourself harder every day, but give yourself breaks and make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, because self health, self care comes number one. Like in life, you can keep on trying and keep on working at things at any point in life and at any age. You don't really have any moment where someone's going to tell you, oh, it's too late, unless you're dead, of course. But I feel like death is, once you're dead, you'll know it's over. Wow. But keep on trying and keep on doing it and just don't stop. I don't like routines. I dislike them. And me saying that, I do think that a routine is really important. And when I say a routine is important, I don't mean you do everything at the same time every day perfectly and this, that. No. But even just in like including certain nice daily things are good. Like for me to be productive in a day, something that is really important to me is making a to-do list. And I need to change my position. I feel like I've been sitting that way too long. I don't know if this looks good. Now I'm insecure. Oh god, you're insecure. Don't know what for. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, setting up a routine. Like for me to be productive in a day, the best thing to do is write out what I need to get done. And I like doing it day by day, because if I do it weekly, my brain gets overwhelmed and I get overstimulated and then I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, too many things I need to get done. Where will I start? Um, but just having like simple things like, I don't know, have some breakfast and like start working at this time and finish working at this time and do this and do that. And it all helps you, and just doing small steps rather than like big leaps, and just writing it down rather than like, I don't know, like I like keeping my, I don't have it with me right now, but I like keeping my notebook next to me and writing everything in that. It's like my holy grail. I swear to god, writing things down is so much better than like typing it in your phone, because typing it in your phone is great and all, but it just doesn't feel the same. Writing it down and then getting to like scratch it off, tick it off, I don't know, line it off, is so great. And it feels so like, wow, I did that. And looking back at like at the end of the day and being like, whoa, I did all these things, makes you feel so great. Me wanting to record this and upload it, I know I need to upload it today and I know I need to get it out today, because I have set myself that standard and I need to hold myself accountable. Realistically, who is waiting for this episode? Realistically, who will be watching this episode, you know? But at the same time, even if one person has been excited for this episode and one person has been wanting to watch this episode, and I was able to do that, and I was able to be consistent? I was able to be consistent. That's really like amazing and great. I feel like you shouldn't allow yourself to like have any other option. You just do it. What do I need to do? Record a podcast episode. Will I allow myself to record and upload a podcast episode any other day before after Tuesday? No. If I don't upload it today at 6 p.m., then there is no other choice. I need to do it. It is what it is. I have a week chance, like I have a week long chance, and I have so many opportunities to do it. If I don't decide to do it before, I reap my consequences. And next time I'll know that I need to do it before. Like, why does it need to be so much like so stressful? I could have recorded this 2 days ago, 3 days ago. But anyways, let me stop exposing myself and telling you how unprofessional this is. No, it's not unprofessional. It is professional. I swear to God. But I'm just one man trying. Um, yeah, that's another thing is having a team. Be open to teamwork. Be open to like working with others. Be open to doing work with others. Because if you split up work between three people instead of just one, you're able to do what you want and what you love much more to a higher degree, to much more like if I like making a video, if I am just in charge of the idea generation and the recording part, and someone else edits it and someone else takes care of the uploading and the marketing, you've basically set yourself up for success, whether you want it to or not. Like, it's because the load on you, like the weight load, that sounded bad, but the weight load on you is much less, of course, but it just helps you so much with managing that stress and managing the overwhelming sensation that, oh, I need to do everything and I need to do 50 things at once. Recently, I've been working on a project and I really do love this project, but I feel like it's my first ever time where I'm taking initiative as a professional, and I'm putting myself in these roles where, although it's really nice being a creative director and not having as many hands on board with one project, really does put me in situations where I need to do most of the things. And although I really do enjoy them, I really think that finding individuals who work great with your workflow and have the same ideas and same concepts as you is so great. Having a team and being able to work as a team and being able to celebrate your successes and even your failures, even though now we know that failures aren't failures unless you give up, but being able to celebrate your successes as a group really does help push you forward. It's the same idea as going to the gym with someone rather than going to the gym alone. Going to the gym alone is nice, but having someone there really does hold you accountable, really does help you push yourself further, and really does overall have like help with the experience of you not feeling overwhelmed by the idea of, oh, I need to go to the gym and there's so many people. Also, not having the same person all the time. That's another thing. You don't always need to have the same person be by your side and, I don't know, be the person that you always turn to whenever things don't seem to turn out the way you want them to. Like, have multiple people, have like different opinions, have different POVs. I love getting feedback from different people about something that I know a lot of or I don't know that much about, and they tell me about their information about that thing. Like, if you're able to give me a different perspective but also a different level of knowledge about it, like, that's great. That's amazing. That's what I want. That's what I need. I just realized for anyone who's watching the video, it just cut out. I'm sorry. Now we're back to the video. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, hi. Thank you for tuning into the video version of the podcast. If you're listening to this, probably you haven't noticed anything, but now that I've said it, you know that the video cut out. But we were talking about. I don't even know what I was talking about. Limitations are so great. I'm sorry to say it, but like sometimes limiting yourself is so good. Because if you're allowed the freedom to do anything and everything, you'll be overwhelmed by your choices. This is the same thing as like going to a grocery store and having to pick one cereal out of 10. Or like, have you ever played Minecraft? I can't believe I'm referencing a Minecraft experience at this point, but like you'll get it. If you ever play creative mode, you'll start building something. What usually happens to me is playing if I'm playing creative mode, I'll start building something and then I'll start destroying everything. And it really does reflect the way I am as a person, but also the way how if you're given the freedom to do anything, you'll probably like not do anything or you'll probably ruin everything. If you're given the limitation of like being in survival mode and you have to work towards what you want, you get to appreciate it so much more. And even with, for example, when I record videos, I only use my phone most of the times when it's like vlogs or when it's like me covering events. And although that's like a limitation, and although that could be like also not a limitation, because sometimes having a full on rig with a camera and a mount and everything is like overwhelming. But having the limitations of a phone makes you do so many more things because you learn how to expand the reach of your limitations, learn how to do things in a limited way, and learn how to do things with what you have rather than keep on telling yourself, oh, I need to get this, oh, I need to get that. If you want to record a video, just start recording a video. I'm not saying it's going to be easy from day one. If we look back at like my first ever video, oh god, I think hieroglyphs are much easier to read than like trying to understand what my videos were because it just doesn't make sense. The pacing, nothing makes sense. It's just like a montage. It's basically a silent film, but you add like you slap on some random song you find on some random website which is like copyright free, even though it's not. I'm calling you out. I forgot the website, but there's this one website that tells you that a song is copyright free, but it's not, and it always copyrights you like a week or two after you publish a video. Why would you do that? If you're someone who is trying to find copyright free music, just go into the YouTube library. There's a whole library where you can get free music and free audios. And also, you can find some SoundCloud artists which provide free music for just a credit or something. So that's also nice. Limitations are really great because limiting yourself, even even this, oh my god, I hate when people do this. When someone decides to do five things at the same time rather than do one thing and fully hone in their skills on that thing. Like I do this sometimes with myself. Like I have like five different YouTube channels and I know it's not that great in terms of like trying to balance my work life situation, but I hate when, for example, someone who does content creation decides to do graphic design, or someone who does graphic design all of a sudden wants to do fashion design. Like I'm not saying you can't go into that field, but please make sure that you have honed in your skill for your own benefit. I'm not saying like for anyone else's benefit. You can do whatever you want. If you feel like that's the right thing for you, do it. But please make sure that you are please make sure that you are fed up of doing one thing before you move on to the next thing. I feel like you need to keep on doing something to the point where you're like you want more. You want some more creativity. You need something new. You need to see something different. It's like recently, someone who I watch is Valkyrie, also known as Ray, and she's a big inspiration for me. Something that like I get inspired from, although I do get inspired from like artists, like creative directors and photographers and graphic designers and YouTubers. I also really look at streamers, Twitch streamers, which is kind of niche. If you don't know what Twitch is like a live streaming platform. But one person I really look up to is Valkyrie, and recently, after I don't know how many years of her doing like content creation, she's opened up her media company, and it's so nice to listen to her podcast. She just released a podcast It's her and I'm sorry, I forgot her name. Is it Anna? No, I don't know if it's Anna or Anna or Emma. It's her and this one other chick. They're both so nice. But the podcast is called Press Escape, and it's Press Escape or Press Control. I think it's Press Escape. If the name is wrong, I'm sorry. Ah, I feel like I don't need to have everything exact. But basically, Valkyrie, who is this streamer, recently launched a podcast with this other girl who does. It was so niche, and I loved it. It's basically called, I don't know the name. Oh god, I'm so bad with names. Sorry, but it's like cute weapons. So like she had a taser which looked like Mika, who is Valkyrie's dog, and it's so cute and so little and so, and everything they do is like items, objects, things which have cute characters and cute designs, which is so nice. And I found that to be so niche, and I appreciated that. I was like, whoa, it's so different from what you typically expect from someone. And she even spoke about how she started off from like this um I think it was oil painting, and how long it took for oil paintings to dry, and she needed a new like media and new form to like express herself. And it's so nice to see, like, even with Valkyrie, I'm gonna call her Ray, because saying Valkyrie is really long. I don't want to say Val. Let me say Ray. But even with Ray, her talking about how she launched her media company to be able to explore different mediums is so nice, because you really understand that at the end of the day, it's the same mind and the same mindset and same, headspace. It's the same creativity and it's the same creative person behind everything. Which, to be honest, me as a creative director, I also say this when I do my work. It's me. It's always gonna be me. It's the same Hafidos. It's the same Hafid. But being able to express yourself in different ways really does help you not get overwhelmed or like limited to some certain extent by what you do in one form. Having these different ways in how you can express yourself, but also have it be so consistent in a brand identity and also in an artist form, like whether you like it or not, if you produce content, you are an artist, full stop. But being able to do so in different forms is so nice. And someone I look up to is also Emma Chamberlain. And even just seeing her being able to express herself in YouTube videos, develop her skills, and become the person she is now. And then she was able to launch her coffee brand, which is that's another medium, being a company owner, being a brand owner, being a literal business person, and then being able to express herself through her podcast. I love the way Emma does it, because Emma did it in like waves, whereas now she's coming back slowly to YouTube. I wish I could do that, but I don't have the patience. And to be honest, it's not the best thing to like just throw myself into this. But I've gotten to the point. I've been wanting to do this since I've been 16, and now I'm 21. That's a I think that's 5 years. Yeah, that's a long time. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yes, it's 5 years. I was right. But I feel like at this point, I need to catch up. I'm like the late student. I'm the person who like came here late. I need to put in my online internet lore. I need to, I don't know, create my space. And even though it might not be the most perfected and might not be the greatest, I'm just doing it because I want to do it. And that's the lesson taken away from today's episode. Is just do it because you want to, and don't do it because you need to or have to or feel like you're obliged to. Just do it because you actually genuinely have a want and have a passion for it. So, unfortunately, I do think that does conclude our episode for today. I had so much fun talking about this. It was a lot. I have a Every time I record an episode, I have this like dry sore throat. It's just me yapping for so long without taking breaks, and then I'm like, but when I look back at the footage, tell me why I take breaks every 5 seconds where I'm like breathing or like mouth noises. Anyways, let me not continue yapping and let me just conclude this first episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Late Night Talks with Hafidos. If you did, please don't forget to rate this episode no, rate this podcast 5 stars over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, like over on YouTube, and subscribe and follow on all pages. Also, check out the Instagram and TikTok for Late Night Pod. The username is Late Night Pod. No, Late Night Talks Pod. That's I knew there was a word missing. Yeah, the username is Late Night Talks Pod. And yeah, drop me a message over there. Tell me what you thought about this episode. Feel free to comment. And yeah, I feel like that's it. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. If you are not having the greatest of days, like me when I was first starting this episode out, hey, take a break, take a breather. It's fine. Just step back. It's okay to, if today is not your day, rest up, don't force it, and just wait for tomorrow and start tomorrow on a good step forward. And yeah, like sometimes stepping away is great, but also don't do it too often because you might get into the habit of just giving up too easily. And yeah, I feel like I'm starting to talk again. Someone stop me. But yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. And yeah, I need to stop saying and yeah. But yeah. Oh god. I need to stop saying but yeah. Anyways, I'll see you in the next episode. I had so much fun recording this and I look forward to each and every episode and hope you do too. So bye for now and check out my other social media pages. Personal. I get to plug myself personally now. It's Hafidos IRL, Hafidos, Hafidos 2. Just search up Hafidos and you can just scroll and enjoy the stuff I put out. Okay, bye.